Welcome students. In this video we are going to see about your fifth exercise, implement SVM and decision tree classification technique using R. So before getting to that programming model, we should know basics about SVM and decision tree. So what is SVM? SVM is nothing but a support vector machine, which is a supervised learning model that is used to do data classification and regression analysis. So mainly it is fully used for a data classification. So this is a support vector machine algorithm. So linear data. So I will explain the SVM with a simple example. So in this model we are having a blue circles as well as the red triangles. Okay. So the classification, which means we are going to separate this blue model with the red triangle with using the XY coordinate pairs. Then how will we do? There is a simple line is going to be drawn between the two tags to separate them. So here this line is called as a decision boundary. So this is the best hyperplane. So it is going to be, so while we are drawing the hyperplane, the one side of the hyperplane will under one tag, the another side will under another tag. Okay, so the line is going to be separate the blue lines and a triangle into classification. So but how we say the plane is a best fit for that particular data set? So this is nothing but we are using the support vector. The support vector is nothing but the shortest distance of the tag between the hyperplane. Okay, so not shortest, longest distance. Okay, so here there is a two hyperplanes. One is a thick line, another one is a shaded line. So here the shaded line having a support vector, nothing but the shortest distance between the plane and the tag. So here the small margin, the red tag having a small margin. So while we are comparing with the thick line, this is having a large margin. Okay, so the which plane having the large margin, which having the best hyperplane for the particular data set. So that's why the support vector machine named as a support vector. So here the plane qualities depends on the support vectors. So we can easily split with a hyperplane, nothing but a two-dimensional line for the linear data. So now we are considering a non-linear data. So here we are having red and blue, but there is no chance for the linear separation here. But we can easily separate them because the data is plotted here. We can easily separate them. So how we are going to be separate them? So then we are going to add the extra dimension to separate this data. So we are using the another dimension, nothing but z axis. Z is equal to x square plus y square, nothing but a circle. So use this three-dimensional space. We can easily separate this two data. So when x is equal to 1, we have to write a plane. So we can easily separate this plane with your third dimension. Okay, so this is the best hyperplane. So that's the way we are using the support vector machine to classify the linear data as well as the non-linear data. Okay, so here we can easily separate this two data, your blue circles versus your red triangles. So let me introduce the program. Okay, so here this is your SVM classification programming model. So I will write the program, but no worry, I will explain each and every line. So I am going to clear console. Okay, so before getting to that, we should install our library E1071. This is not in your default R package. You can download from your packages. Okay, here your packages, you type this and you can easily download it, your E1071, because this library E1071 will having the packages for SVM classification. So here we are going to plot the iris. So what is meant by iris? So iris is a default data set in your R language for our data analytics purpose. So I will show you the iris data sets. So nothing but, so print IRIS, print iris. So this is your iris data sets, which is having a three variables. So the target variables, three variables. So I will explain the iris with the structure of the iris. Okay. So this is the structure of your iris data set, which having a 5 variables with 150 observation. The sepal length, the sepal width, the petal length and petal width and species. These are the 5 variables, and we having a 150 observation. Okay, this having a 150 observation. So I'm going to plot the iris. So how will it look like? Let me see. So this is your plotting of iris data set. Okay. So here we having 5 variables and how the data is going to be plotted. So sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width and species. So here we having some variables having a better separation of 2 and 3 data sets. For example, here in your petal length there is a clear separation between the 2 data. You can see this third row, fourth column. Okay, there's a clear separation. In your fourth row, third column, there's a clear separation. So here in your species having a clear separation. Okay, so this is the how the data is plotted for each and every individual variables. So we are going to see about the how the plot is going to be show for the classification of 3 species based on individual variables. Okay, for example, in your 8th line, I am going to plot your iris data set based on the variable sepal length and sepal width. Okay, the column is nothing but iris and species. Okay, so we are going to do with the sepal length and sepal width with the species separation is nothing but iris species. Okay, I am going to run this command. So I am going to plot the iris data set based on the 2 variables sepal length and sepal width. That how it will look like. So this is your sepal length and sepal width. So here we can easily separate your black with your pink. Okay, we can easily create a hyperplane to separate these 2. But in your pink with green, there is some confusion here. In your 100th, there is some confusion here. We cannot draw the line to separate the pink and blue. So this is the red, pink and green, nothing but your species color. Okay, we are going to separate the species based on the some colors. So second, we are plot with using the petal length and petal width. Let's see how it will look like this. So here it is a far better than your sepal length and sepal width. Here we are having a clear idea about the classification. We can easily create a hyperplane to classify the 3 data. Okay, there is a clear separation. We can easily create the hyperplane with a good support vectors. So instead of taking all the arguments or all the variables in data set, I am going to take the petal length and petal width for my SVM classification. So it will give me a clear separation between the 3 species. Then I take a sample. So we having a 150. Okay, total we having a 150 observation. In 150 observation, I am taking 100 for our random sample. Okay, our training data. So I am going to print your sample. Okay, this is your print your sample. So here we having our sample data for 100 observation. Okay, so this 100 are generated randomly. Okay, so each and every time you go to run this, there is a different samples are generated. So based on that, we can train our data with the different samples to make a better classification. So I will explain you. So here I'm going to run the sample in another time. Okay, so there is a samples or difference are there. I'm going to run another time. So here the 100 samples are randomly generated. You can see in this data model. So then we are going to make a column vectors. Okay, so we are going to make a column for petal length, petal width and species. So we are going to take in the three variables in our classification. So based on that petal length and petal width, we are going to separate the species. Okay, here in your iris petal length and petal width, so based on that we are going to be classify your species. So then I am going to train my iris set. So this is the training data. So train data I am taking, yes, sample 100. Okay, I am taking 100 with the data set nothing but column. The column data set nothing but the column data set having the petal length, petal width and species. So I will give you the structure of the training set. So this is the structure of the training set. So we having a three variables: petal length, petal width and then species. So the species are in three levels: Setosa, versicolor and another. So second, I am going to initialize the iris test set. Okay, so the minus nothing but the remaining data set. So in our training we are taking 100 samples. In our testing we are going to take the remaining 50 samples. So run it. So I will give you the structure of the iris test. Sorry, str. Iris test. So here we having the same, but we having only 50 observation. Okay, so we are set the training set as well as we are setting the testing set. Then we are going to create the support vector machine. Okay, so here in SVM fit we are going to do the SVM support vector machine. So the data is nothing but species. We are going to classify the species with all the data in your iris train. Okay, we are going to consider all the variables which is present in your iris train data set. The kernel is nothing but it is a linear classification. The kernel represent it is a linear classification. The cost is 0.1. The scale is false. Okay, the cost is nothing but we are going to give some. I will explain in later. So we are going to identify what is the best cost fit for our data analytics. So I will explain in later. Then print the SVM fit. Okay, we are creating the SVM classification. Then we are going to fit the data, print the data. So run. So this is your SVM classification. Okay, this is your call function. The parameters are C classification. And the kernel nothing but it is a linear classification. The cost is 0.1. So the number of support vectors is 48. Okay, so each and every time you are going to run this, the support vector will change. I will explain you. This is we are going to plot our training data in your plot. So there is a clear separation between the three. We are going to separate the Setosa, Virginia and other. Okay, versicolor based on that your training data, your petal length and petal width. So this is your petal length, your x-axis is petal length, your y-axis is petal width, your y-axis is petal length. So based on that there is a classification will change. Okay, so I am going to run this again. So with your samples. Okay, So here it will change. So here the support vector is 8, and same thing I'm going to run again. The support vector is 8, and I'm going to run here. Here the support vector is 50. Okay, for each and every classification, for every random samples, there's a support vectors, and our classification is little bit changes. Okay, when the support vectors increases, it will give you a good sign for a classification. And next we are going to tune our data. Okay, so the tuning is nothing but we are going to tune our SVM with the species data from the iris train. The kernel is nothing but is a linear classification, and the ranges is nothing but we are going to give a list of cost. Okay, from 0.001 to 100. So we have to identify which cost is better to tune our data set. So nothing but I'm going to run this line. Okay, and summary of tune. So in the summary of tune, parameter tuning SVM, the sampling method is tenfold cross validation. So the cost is nothing but 0.1. We already make it. So if the cost is not fit, 0.1 is not fit in your data, it will give you the best parameter to fit your data. The best performance 0.05, and the detailed performance results. Okay, and then we are going to predict our test data based on our SVM classification. Okay, then we have to check how our model is going to be best fit to classify the data, remaining data, to identify whether our classification is best fit for our model or not. So what is the accuracy of the classification? So the predict is nothing but I'm going to predict the SVM fit with the test data. The type is nothing but classification, and I'm going to plot my test data. So it will look like this. Okay, Setosa, versicolor, and Virginia. So it will give more information in our table. Okay, so in table it will say that, so it having a very good classification. Okay, compare with Virginia. Virginia is only going to be in total 13, there is only one is going to be wrongly predicted. So other than the total is correctly predicted. The versicolor in 18, there is 15 is correctly predicted, and 3 is not correctly predicted. In your Setosa, there is a 19 samples. The 100% is going to be correctly predicted. So the mean value so 0.92%. Okay, so in our example there is a accuracy is 92%. So we are going to repeat this for many times. You can get a different accuracy. For example, I am going to run this. So for this sample data, so here see there is a 98% of accuracy. Here a Setosa will be predicted 15 as a 15 correct. Versicolor the up to 18, the 70 is correctly predicted. In Virginica there is a 17 up to correctly predicted. So our accuracy will be different from based on your samples, your added data. Okay, so based on your random samples from 92% to 98%. So here we are achieving at most a good quality. So that is your SVM classification and how it will work. Then we are moving for your decision tree. Okay, so in a decision tree we know what is the decision tree. So the decision tree is an algorithm that builds a flow chart like a graph to illustrate the possible outcome of a decision. Okay, so decision tree is nothing but it's going to be create a flow chart which is like a graph which give the outcomes of the decision. If you are taking a decision, so what is the possible outcome for the particular decision? So that is called as a decision tree. So to build the decision tree, first we have to choose the variable that best split your data into two separate, and we are going to continue the separation of the data until we are making some decision or we are making some label node. Okay, so in the tree graph where each split represents the decision. So if I take a decision, there is a split. So the internal node will represent the decision, and your leaf node will represent the final answer or something, your final tag or variable. So this is the example for the decision tree. This is the data for a Titanic survival. Okay, so here this data will clearly show that is sex male. Then if yes, it go to the left. If it is no, it go to right. So it will clearly says that. So here, if a particular person is a female, then there is a 73% of chances for surviving. So the 73% of surviving means it having a 36% of a total data observation in our data set. So this is the way we can make a lot of statements based on decision tree. So it will give you a variety of possible outcomes based on your decision tree variables. So let me introduce you the programming model of decision tree. So this is your decision tree. So before into that, we have to install the two packages. One is MAS, another one is RPart. So the MAS is used for to get the data. Run. So I'm going to clear the console. So here, so I'm going to delete all the plots. Yes. So first I'm going to install the MAS library. If it is not there, you can easily go to the packages and type the version and download it. Okay. Second, I'm going to install the library RPart. So the RPart will having the basic function for decision tree. So RPart is going to be partition your data into two separate variables. Sorry, two separate decisions. So here I am going to using the birth weight database. I will show you the database. Okay. So this is the database which having the 189 entries with the total 10 columns. Okay. So here each and every one. So below is nothing but whether the particular child. This is the database for the birth child rate in a particular hospital. Okay, so the low is nothing but whether a particular birth child having a weight less than 2.5 or not. If it is less than 2.5, then it should be a 1. This is a categorical variable, it should be 1. If it is not, it should be 0. Okay, the low is nothing but the weight is less than 2.5 or not. The age is nothing but the mother's age. And then race is nothing but the LWD is nothing but the mother's weight for the last menstrual period. This is in a pounds. And the race is nothing but whether a parent is a race like a white, black or brown. The smoke is nothing but whether a parent is smoking during the pregnancy or not. So it is having a lot of variables. Okay, height is nothing but a hypertension history. PTI is nothing but a premature delivery in previous days. UI is nothing but urinary infection, if yes or no. And then BWD is nothing but birth weight of the particular child in grams. Okay. So this is the data set we are going to be predict. So here in decision tree, we are going to predict whether a particular child going to low weight. If yes, so what are the possible outcomes? So let us get into the program. So herd of birth weight is nothing but is going to be print 4 or 5 records in your birth weight data. Okay. So this is your data. And histogram of birth weight based on that BWT. Okay, birth weight, which is nothing but the child birth weight in grams. So this plot will show this histogram will clearly says that the x-axis is nothing but the birth weight, and y-axis is the frequency. So it clearly says that the most of the children birth weight is between 2000 grams to 4000 grams. Okay, so below 2000 it's a small data range, and above 4000 grams it's a small data range. So the majority of the child weight is between the 2 kilograms to the 4 kilograms. So the histogram will clearly says that the birth weight of the overall data set in your birth weight table. Second, table of birth weight low. Low is nothing but whether a particular child weight is less than 2.5 or not. So if it is less than 2.5, then it is 1. If it is not, it is 0. So run this data. So here we having a total 189 observation. In 189 observation, there is a 59 people having the weight less than 2.5 and 130 people having the weight which is greater than 2.5. So the low in 189 samples, there is a 59 samples are below weight, okay, low weight. So I'm not to take all the arguments to make a decision tree. I will take only the best parameters for my decision tree classification. So I'm taking the low, race, smoke, hypertension and urinary infection. These are the columns I'm going to take for my decision tree classification. So run this. So this is nothing but L applies nothing but it give the output as a list, okay, and we are going to converting this column into the factors. So we are converting the column into the factors, and the output is nothing but the list of variables, okay. Okay, I'm going to set the seed, your training data. So this is your training data. So sample is nothing but we are going to give the samples. What samples for training and what samples for testing. So here I am going to give the 75% of the total data for training and remaining 25% for testing. So I am going to create the birth weight tree. I am using the function rpart, which is in your rpart library. This is going to be create the decision tree. So here we are going to exclude the low. Why we are exclude the low? Because the low is going to be nothing but whether the weight is less than 2.5 or not, okay. So that's the same as your weight. So that's why I'm going to exclude the low of the birth weight, and the data is nothing but birth weight train. We are going to give the train data for this data, and method is classification. So here we are going to exclude, we are going to make a decision tree for the low. Here we are exclude the BWT, nothing but birth weight rate. So the birth weight and the low are similar because the birth weight is greater than 2.5, then the low is 0. Okay, so that's why we exclude the low from your data set for your training data set for create the classification. So plot the birth weight tree. So it will look like this. So I am going to print the text on that. Sorry, I am going to print again this. Okay, so I will zoom this data. Okay, so here it will say says that. So in your PTI means premature delivery in previous days. Okay, so if your premature delivery is if you having a one or more premature delivery, then your age is less than 2.5. Sorry, your age is greater than 2.5. Then there is a chance for low weight. Okay, there is a 1. So uh, for this I'm to taking this right side. So if you are having a one or more premature delivery and at the same time your age is greater than 2.5, then there will be a possible for low weight child. Okay, so in the same way we can make a lot of statements in this decision tree. So here if there is not, if you are not having the premature, if it is less than 0.5, then you have to the low weight, nothing but your parental weight. If the parental weight is less than 109 pounds, then there is a chance for, if the age is less than 8.5, then there is a chance for a premature, I mean low weight child. Okay, so we can make a lot of statements through this decision tree. So I will give the summary of the birth weight tree. So it will give a lot of information. And I'm going to predict, okay, based on that testing data, training data, I'm going to predict the birth weight tree for the classification. So here our data is a training data. We are going to create the birth weight tree and type is classification. So this is your prediction. I'm going to table this. It will give the clear information. Okay. So here in our birth weight prediction, so in in low weight, we are predicting correctly 30 and 9 is not. So in 1 is nothing but the child is low weight. So the low weight less than 2.5 kilograms. So up to 9 variables, 9 observation, we are predicting correctly 8 observation. So the total accuracy for this is nothing but we are going to identify 30 plus 1 divided by 30 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8. So the total is nothing but 31. So the accuracy is more than 60%, I think so. So in the same way we are going to training the model again and again, we can get the bet prediction model. Okay. So this is the implementation of our classification on SVM and decision tree. I hope this session will be very helpful to you. So thank you, students.